thank you guys. Thanks for being here. This is like a really cool time. Like, I don't know if you've ever taken like 1,000 steps in your life before you took one. Like, 1996 was our first step, my first step, Gold's Gym in Las Vegas. 2013 was like the opening of Journey. And then like for this past year, we've been like, legal and branding and marketing. And now tonight, excuse the little mic, Nicole and I are going to like record this because we're going to be using video and whatnot in the future. But tonight is a very select group of people. Some of them that joined Journey a while ago. It's just a team member that said, you know, I think I'd like to take that ownership journey. And then others that joined as members that said, you know, that might be something that interests me. And so it's just a really cool opportunity to share this very first step with you all. So thank you for being here. I got a little video that I thought was a great way to kick it off. It probably says it better than I can. So let's take it up here. A little notch.
It is our nature to explore, to go places no one has ever dreamed,
Is that working?
to redefine what is possible. It is our calling to create, to transform the world around us, to plant the seeds of change. It is our responsibility to disrupt, to laugh in the face of conformity, to create our own reality. It is our duty to lead, to show strength when others are weak, to trust ourselves when everyone doubts. We are the brave souls that are changing our culture, our economy, and redrawing the lines of the future. We are the entrepreneurs, and our greatest rewards have yet to come.
Pretty cool spot to begin. Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, people like that. You know, we got entrepreneurs in this room, so it's a, you know, I think that that's the thing, right? Like, we want to all get like our hands on the world and make it different because we were there, and so that's why we do what we do. I'm going to share some stuff tonight that, like, maybe just by like a nod of the heads that we all agree as business owners and as just colleagues that when we share stuff that's like financial or whatever, that, you know, it's for this room only, right? So, we talk a little bit about dreaming big. For me, I think that many people dream, but not many people dare. I don't know about daring to put my neck on the line. I think that's what an entrepreneur does every day. So, be your own boss. I honestly never thought I would be. You know, I came home in, what was it, 2010? 2010? And I was working over 100 hours a week for someone else, and I was building their dream, and I was really enjoying it. I mean, they're just a great person. I really looked up to them a lot, and they had a different vision. Their vision in about Thanksgiving 2012 was that they would become the face of their own business. They were getting a little bit jealous of the idea that I was the face of their business, and so we had a house flooded in, it was about 2011. It was flooded to the second floor, and we were living in a FEMA trailer, and I was let go. I was like let go by like this person I would have kept working 100 hours a week for. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do? And so I looked at my different opportunities, and I said, well, to do anything besides fitness would be spiritual suicide. Like, you know, there are many people I think that commit that kind of suicide every day. Like they go to work like half asleep, they get through their day, they get a paycheck, but they don't really feel like they're really living, right? So I was like, you know, I've determined one thing, and that is to do anything besides fitness would be spiritual suicide. But what if I could do it the way that I wanted to? Like in 1996, I remember, like, I went to my owner and, you know, I was like, hey, there's a lot of people I'm signing up that aren't showing up. Can we call them? And they're like, oh, we're not going to call the people that aren't coming because that's 80% of our population. You got to understand, we're making money on people that pay and don't come. And then even that guy that let me go, he had this hybrid thing going on. Like, I took his gym from having 5 clients to having 200. But that's still, he had some people that were paying for workout on your own membership and not really showing up, and he made a lot of income on that. And I was like, well, what if I had a results-driven business? What if I could actually call people that didn't come in and track them down when they weren't showing up and keep them accountable and give them that thing that they signed up for? So I think, you know, being your own boss means having your own vision, right? Like, instead of, like, there's a good quote. I think this is a good one. It says, you'll either spend your life working on someone else's dream or you'll work on your own. So finally, like, the opportunity began to work on my own. So money freedom. You know, when I think about money freedom, if you guys open up your folders, you can look here on page 5 in there. There's this little sample P&L, just like the possibilities, right? So a lot of us will get into being our own boss because we're like, well, what if I could, instead of trading dollars for hours, what if I could have a systemized business to where I could even leave it and it would still make money? So on page 5, you'll see just an example. Of course, everybody starts off in their first year, and it's called sacrifice, right? Like, you know, we have to put the time in, right? But then a lot of people say, well, that you got to wait 5 years before your business will even make money. Well, you know, you'll see on here that year 2 and year 3, you know, we're making over a 20, 25, 30% profit. And that's because we have systems. Earning money freedom is what everybody hopes for, right? Can I get a salary from the business plus maybe an extra 6 figures to take care of my family and have us be able to enjoy the things that we want to enjoy and do the things we want to do? And I think that the difference between our business and sometimes other businesses, maybe not some of the ones that we have some people in here tonight, because I know Peter and your business, you know, different ones, you know, you get to make a difference in the lives of others. But I feel like a prerequisite for being here is you get 2 paychecks. Yes, there will be your salary. Yes, there will be, you know, the profits. But like 52 amazing journeys, and it's just volume 1, right? Like 52 lives that you made different. Like, you got your hands on the world, you got your hands on people, and you're like, I know that you are having a hard time breathing right now. I know that if I don't get a hold of you and help you lose 100 pounds, that you will be dead next year, and I just made a difference in your life. And so we got like a lot of 100-pound stories, and it's just awesome. Just awesome to have that happen. So that's an example of financials. I think 52 amazing journeys is the bigger paycheck, you know. So time freedom. Cindy and I were in business not even a year, and we had 2 separate trips where we shut down Wi-Fi, right? Like, one was to El Salvador. Destiny here, she said, this is funny. We're all riding in the car one day, and I was doing like my little roadmap for the year, you know, like, what are your big 3? What are your big 5? What are things you want to do? And I asked Destiny, I said, what's yours? And she says, I want to get baptized. I want to go on a missions trip. And I want to read the Bible, right? And so I was like, where did you get these ideas, right? Like, you know, but instantly, like, as a father, you know, you feel compelled to do something. So we joined a church that was going on a missions trip, and it was just a couple months later we were in El Salvador, where we didn't have Wi-Fi, but the business still ran. Like, it still made money. The doors still stayed open. Many times, if we don't have vacation time, we take off from a job, right? That's the difference, right? That's the entrepreneurial difference, because you risk more, you got more. And then it was in April that we went to Cancun. And that was optional, but we still shut down Wi-Fi. I said, you know what? I'm just going to disconnect. So I think that's the time freedom that everybody kind of dreams about, enjoys as an entrepreneur, says, you know, what if, right? If I have a systemized business, can I do this? Can I have more time with my family? Turnkey business model. This is big. Like, I know that I got readers in here, right? So we're talking EMIS style stuff. Like 80% of small businesses fail. Why is that? Well, Josh, I like this one. Tammy Pavis. Who's she working for now? It's Citizens. And then she used to work for Elmira Savings Bank. And so she said, here's why most small businesses fail. Because anybody who can fry an egg thinks that they should open up a restaurant, right? And so, like, they don't have systems. But 80% of franchises succeed. What's the reason? Well, the reason why 80% of franchises succeed is because hopefully they have something like this. This is like our 6th edition. It's like, don't get into business because you thought you could fry an egg or because you thought that you could work out, lift some weights, and make some people sweat. Get into business where it's already like the systems are thought out for you. And like that's a lot of like, well, that's 1996 to 2018. Like it's every mentor and every person that we met along the way, and it's absorbing what was useful and rejecting what was useless and saying this is going to become the blend of the very best. So turnkey business model means you get the time freedom. You get the money freedom. That's the idea of a franchise. And that's why you want to not do it alone. That's why you want to do it where the system's already done for you. So done for you marketing. I don't know about you guys, but it's hard to keep up. Like if you're involved right now with anything that has to do with marketing, we got Facebook changing their algorithms. You got different email companies coming out all the time, right? Like we got to keep up with like the email software, the campaigns. There's lead magnets. There's YouTube is the next hot spot to go ahead and place your commercials on. And so this is going to be done for you as a franchise. Like these are like the assets that you're given. You're given the website that looks really good. You're given all the things that are really important for you. Here's one. You're given an annual marketing calendar. My favorite quote is, not planning is planning to fail, right? And so there are many people that are like kind of fly by the seat of their pants. I think often, it's happened to me over the years, even just being in business. I'm like, well, what are we going to do this month? It's like a great idea, right? So what we're doing for franchisees is saying, here's your annual marketing calendar. Here's all the stuff that you need. That all you have to do is just go execute. And that kind of goes back to the time freedom and money freedom, because then it's like, okay, so all I have to do is execute. Like that means I don't have to go and create these marketing materials. Like for the email campaigns, I just got to kind of personalize my photos and change the signature and it's like done. Yes. And so a lot of done for you marketing. Comprehensive support. Again, I'm going to share something. We've shared some financials here. I'll share this with you. I pay $1,000 a month to be in the Todd Durkin Mastermind. It's a Power of 10 group, P10. There are 10 people that are like me. They want to present. They want to speak. They have either one or more locations. And I can tell you that I could be part of that group for another 20 years, paying $1,000 a month, and I would still come out a winner if I never got another thing out of it. So what I said to myself is, I was like, well, if I was going to start a franchise, why can't I give to them the kind of return that he's given to me? And so like what I thought was, if we had a flat fee, and if it was like being in the mastermind but customized. Here's what happens to me when I go to a mastermind meeting. I'm like, well, he had a really good idea, but he had a different business model. How can I take a fragment of that and come back and apply it? But like this is like the difference in training. Like sometimes you get an athlete that you get your hands on and you have to customize it, right? You have to say, okay, well, he's a baseball player, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to really customize the training. So now instead of a fragmented idea, what comprehensive support means is that every week somebody is like, let's look at your numbers. Let's look at this book and the way that we're supposed to be executing. Let's look at the marketing that we've given you. And it's all customized. So you're getting like help beyond that. And my dream, it's already included, is that every franchisee will also be part of that same mastermind. Because there's a great quote, I think Ken Blanchard, he says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I think when you get in this industry, I think you need to expand your colleagues. I think you got to like have other people that are like trying to accomplish the same things that you're trying to accomplish. So comprehensive support means part of the mastermind. It means, unlimited support really. Weekly, of course, the KPI, like where you're at, and let's like react to it. But of course, the text, the email, the franchisee website where you can go and download your workouts, your nutrition. Everything's done for you. You don't have to write anything. Fixed fees. So what it typically means with a franchise is that the more you make, the more that they take. Okay, so like McDonald's is like 10%. I think Orange Theory is like 8%. So if I got like $20,000 revenue and they're taking 8%, let's see, what is that? Like that's like 1,600 when I'm at 20,000, but then suddenly I'm up to 40,000 revenue, which a mature Journey Fitness is going to make more than 40,000 revenue. And so they're going to be taking $3,200 a month. And then they're going to have like these different co-op fees and all kinds of things like that. And we said, all I want to do is help people in the same way that Masterminds help me. It's a flat rate. It's not like the more you make, the more we take, because we're still giving you the same amount of support, right? Like you put your butt on the line to like work your tail off and make it successful. So I don't really think that a franchisee, we're kind of like an anti-franchise really right here with this idea. But the idea is, it's not the more that you make, the more you take. It's just like that you got a consultant. You got somebody in your back pocket that's been doing this for 22 years and that has a wealth of just great people and great knowledge around them. And we're going to give it to you for the same rate every month. So it's fixed fees. Corporate opportunities. Speaking of the mastermind, in my P10 group, there's a guy that wrote this book, Greg Justice. He's even traveled to Washington to help consult on different like corporate policies. And Inc. magazine says that the fastest growing industry from 2016 to 2020, this came out just a couple years ago, was going to be corporate wellness. So with Journey, you guys have seen it already, we found a way to bring corporations into our place. In fact, we found a way to make that work just as well as Facebook ads for us. The other thing that we've found a way to do is that when there's an industry, such as Hilliard or whatnot, we know how to incorporate wellness into their program. So when somebody thinks that they've reached their cap, like let's say their cap is 300-400 members, there's systems in place to help you expand beyond that cap, which is like, what are the corporations around you that need your services, and how can we go out and serve them? So even when you think that you're like, okay, well, I got this mature location going on right now, maybe it's $750,000 a year, $50,000, $60,000 a month. There's ways to still add revenue, and one of those ways is corporate opportunities. You're going to see more and more, I'm sure, Peter, you're familiar with this, more and more companies reimbursing for corporate wellness, right? And here's the deal. We're the most important health professional. I know that's a bold claim. It's like, I'm glad I don't have any doctors here tonight, but here's what happens, right? You got the health industry that's educated in pharmaceuticals, right? So, like, the health industry is paying no attention to food. The food industry is paying no attention to health. They're just trying to package, like, enough sugar and salt together to be like, okay, here you go, right? And it's the fitness professional that stands in the middle, stands in the divide and said, I'm not educated in pharmaceuticals, and I don't care what they're trying to sell, but I do have, like, the right answer for you. What we see every month in our newsletter is the trifecta of fitness, coaching, and nutrition coming together to get people off their medications. So corporations recognize that. They recognize that if they got involved with a fitness professional on site or sometimes coming to them, that they're actually going to change the cost of their insurance. They're going to lower that cost, and that's a big hit for companies. So here's how we're doing it. Same way we started Journey. Same way we started Journey. There was like an original 14, and what we've always tried to do, and the systems are in here. The systems are in here. We're like, I know that we're growing. We got more than 14 now. What are we going to do? And so we got like tribe systems now where each coach, is responsible for a certain number of people and those kind of things. And they're all in here. But the idea is, I have a friend, and he started Athletic Revolution. His first year, he sold 113 franchises. Now that's great for him, but I don't know how great that is for the 113 that bought in. Right? Because for me, like I value our original 14. I value each team member that we brought on, where like the team members were going to be responsible for a tribe, right? Because that was very important, because I was like, well, how can we keep giving them that personal attention, like the text and the help and the tracking you down when you don't show up. So our goal is to only do 10 our first year. Like instead of 113, we want to do 10. Because what we want to do is build our reputation the same way that we always have, on results. Right? Like how great would it be if everybody's just uber successful and they've added a salary plus the 100K that we talked about, plus maybe they get their own 52 members to where they have a book out amongst them and their coaches. So that's our goal for our first year. And then what we're going to do, which is even more exclusive, I think if you read in books like Scaling Up, Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, they talk about Amazon. They have a rule of 7. And the idea with the rule of 7 is that they divide these departments into no more than 7 leaders. So if you're a true visionary, and if you like the idea of like, how can I help create? How can I, like, I'm going to tell you one thing's for sure. Nothing's going to stay the same. If we said, here it is, it's all done, and it's going to be the same for the next 20 years, well, a couple years we'd start falling behind. So that's why we're going to have a mastermind. That's why we're going to have a leadership board. That's why we're going to examine the things that are coming into our industry and make decisions about them. So currently, right now, we have about 4 people on that leadership board. We have one investor. He couldn't make it here tonight, but Mark Stemmerman from Greek Peak, Schmung Supply. He's invested in this opportunity. Nicole's been handling all of our marketing. She's handling this little filming that's going on here tonight. And so we got, Cindy and myself on there. And Jeremy is going to be our first franchisee. I mean, he might be weeks away from that. In fact, he's decided he's not going to shave his beard until it happens. It's like a hockey story right here. We're not shaving our beard until we win the championship, right? But, what's really cool is I remember Jeremy coming in, and Jeremy was like, I want to have my own gym someday. I was like, awesome, because I was his first fitness job, and I was like, that's great. Like, maybe it'll work out where, you'll do really well with this, and, I can help you do that. And we're in that process right now, and I think that's just, to me, it's not only a great accomplishment for him, but it's a great accomplishment for me because, we get to do that together. And this leadership board is really an example of what a franchise is all about. We got to say, we meet every Thursday from 1:30 to 3, and we tackle our latest problems. And there's 7 people in there, different franchise locations represented, our finance area represented, marketing's represented. But not one of us is as smart as all of us. When people try to do it alone and they say, oh, I can fry an egg so I can open up a restaurant, bad move, right? But if you can incorporate everybody's systems, all the gems you learned from over the years and all your smartest people, and then you can say, let's do it like this, well, then you have an 80% success rate instead of an 80% failure rate. So, the opportunities, of course, secure your territory. There's local opportunities. Territories are going to be determined based on population, income. Like, we want to look at things and see that people have enough disposable income. We want to make sure that people have at least a 20-minute drive time, before there's another location, another journey. So the idea here is that, if you look at CrossFit will let you open up side by side to one another. Because all they care about is they got 14,000 locations. I've looked at some people and I said, that's a problem. Because they say, only the strong survive. So they don't really care. If we open up next door to each other and we're both giving them our money, they're like, whoever does better, they do better. In the meantime, we get 2 incomes. What we're going to do is we're going to have territories. So there's local opportunities, and then, of course, opportunities elsewhere. We have members that can't wait for us to come to Florida, right? We got people down there. You've already heard some of the different people like, you got to come to Florida, which is great because they're paving the way. They're going there. Our snowbirds are going there 6 months of the year, and they're like, come on down. And so they'll be there at the grand opening, and they'll be bringing their friends, and that's awesome. So the process is pretty simple. On page 8 in this thing here, it's kind of an opportunity tonight. You get the info right here on this page. It shows the arrows, kind of like step 1, step 2, all those kind of things. So we just all did like a kind of like a non-disclosure agreement with a nod. But we're going to go much deeper once somebody does an application process. We're going to be able to really do a deep dive into the business and what the opportunity is. But step 1 is just, the application. Step 2, we just start talking about, I think you want people that are aligned. We have a core value system, and we look at leadership, professionalism. You got to be a community builder. You got to be all in. And how we came up with those core values is kind of interesting. It's from a book called Traction. And Traction challenged you, said, if you could name anybody in your business that would take you to industry domination, who would they be? So we started naming people. And it was like, well, what qualities do they possess? And so we started figuring out their qualities, and we said, we opened up with some pretty cool core values, but really, these are our core values. We want people that possess leadership, no matter what role. If you're a coach out there on the floor, you better be leading, right? Leader of one, leader of many. You can't lead one, you can't lead any, right? So you got to be out there leading people into life change. But also, we wanted to grow people that could rise through the ranks and become owners. And that was important to us. And we wanted them professional, which means they possessed honesty and excellence, and they were about attitude and team. And then we also wanted them to be community builders, right? We said, they're going to be responsible for building a community. If they're not a community builder, if they're an introvert and they want to just go off in the woods and be by themselves, that might not be a good fit. And then, of course, being all in. We got our own little warm-up. We are all in. But what does it mean to be all in? All in means that you're not only helping people with life change, but like if they say that they're going to do a 5K this weekend, it means that you're at their side when they cross the finish line and you're taking a photo with them and, you're just all in, So there's some things that we do in the interview process. That's step 2 that we talk about, where we just identify. And then there's an FDD, which I want to tell you, for franchising. That is an intense thing. That is crazy. FDDs are like, 50 pages, and they got like a lot of legal requirements for a franchise. All the elements have to be in there, so then you can be registered with the SBA, which we are now. So for anybody that would look for financing on that, the SBA is now, has us listed as a franchise, which is really cool. And so the idea here is this. I think it's really simple. Some people go to a car lot and they find value. They find a SUV and they say, wow, this SUV, it's worth $70,000 and it's worth $1,000 a month to me. And then as soon as they drive it off the car lot, it goes down about 30%. And eventually they have to trade it in and try to get out of their opportunity. But that's okay, because it's the things that we really don't do in life that we regret the most, right? So it's the things that we do that we're the most proud of. So that's cool. They had that SUV for a period of time. For this, the investment up front is actually less than an SUV. The monthly payment is similar, but it pays you back, could be tenfold, could be more than that. And the difference, I think, comes down to this, that if you're somebody that just says, you know what, I just want to wake up every morning and I want to know that I'm changing somebody's life and that I'm making a difference, then this is the kind of opportunity that is for you.